Well, hello again. It's time for part 2 of our Christmas videos, and as you can see, Zorg is here with me, and he's got a few questions, he says, that he wanted to ask about part 1. And the first question he wanted to ask was about a little bit more about the star. Yes, I did say it was a very bright star, yes, and that's very, very true. And that's how people noticed it, because it was so bright in the sky, they never noticed it before. Yeah, amazing, isn't it? But there was something else special about the star, Zorg. Do you know what it was? Yes, that's right, people followed it. And this is where your question comes in, doesn't it? Yeah, because you were telling me that stars don't usually move. But this one did, and we don't know, it could have been a comet. It could have, because in those days they called all of these kinds of bodies stars and so on. But the people who followed it that we're going to learn about knew a lot about stars, and so they will have known a lot about it and what it meant. The point is, though, that they were led to a very special place, weren't they? But for that to happen, then Jesus' mummy and daddy had to arrive there, and that's what we're going to be hearing about to start off with today. So are we all ready now for our story? I think Zorg is, aren't you? Yes. So Zorg's going to sit down, and then I'm going to read the next part of our story from this lovely book. Remember, it's called This is the Star. Okay? So let's get ourselves settled and we'll hear the next part. Okay. So we left Mary and Joseph. There's the little picture of them on the journey. And here we have them arriving. This is the inn where the only room was a stable out in the lamplit gloom, for the donkey and his precious load, who trudged the long and weary road. Looked on the angel shining bright, who came to the shepherds watching by night, that saw the star in the sky. So we've got all the people in the story so far, and now we've got the inn. And look, here's the innkeeper and Mary and Joseph talking to him. I'll take my glasses off to make it easier for me to read that at that distance. And here we have a beautiful picture, look, of inside the stable with the animals. This is the ox and this is the ass, who saw such wonders come to pass, as the darkened inn where the only room was a stable out in the lamplit gloom. For the donkey and his precious load, who trudged the long and weary road, looked on by the angel shining bright, who came to the shepherds watching by night, that saw the star in the sky. And here we have the birth of the baby. This is the manger, warm with hay, wherein a newborn baby lay. This is the ox and this is the ass, who saw those wonders come to pass, at the darkened inn where the only room was a stable out in the lamplit gloom, for the donkey and his precious load, who trudged the long and weary road, looked on by the angel shining bright, who came to the shepherds watching by night, that saw the star in the sky. And that is all the story we're going to have for today. But in a minute, I'm going to be coming back to do some craft. So Zorg, you're going to get yourself ready as well, aren't you? Because he's going to be doing some craft as well. And we're going to be making something very special. And I'm just going to show you very quickly what we're going to be making. This is a stained glass window of Mary, Joseph and the baby Jesus with the star in the stable. So we're going to be making this in a little while. So I'll see you in just a moment, and we'll get on with that. Yeah? I know you're very excited. Yes, you can have a look at the children. There they are. Yay! He loves you all. He really does. Okay, we're going to be back soon, so see you in a minute. Bye. Okay, right. Well, we're back to make this stable, stained glass stable. And if you hold it up against the light, you can actually see through it. You can see there as the light's coming through. It shines out. So if you stick that on your window at home, a window or a glass door or something, the light will just like it does there, come through it and really show it all up. So that is what we're going to be making. Now the first part is probably the trickiest part because you have to take a piece of blank card like this and turn it into the frame, which is like that, okay? And you have to do it quite carefully because you're going to use the centre of the piece of black card that's been cut out in a minute to make the figures. What I've done is I've drawn ready a frame on there. Now this is the bit you might need an adult to help you with. Literally, I folded the card in half so you could see the centre point, and I marked that, and then I marked about 2/3 of the way down, and then drew a line and a line in diagonal. And then I have done an interior frame, which is about 1 centimetre wide all the way around, roughly, with a ruler. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out, first of all, the roof. I'm going to cut that part so that's gone, like that. So I'll peek there, right? And then I'm just going to make a very, very little snip, which I'm going to start to cut, but on the fold, you can see, okay, just bend it a little bit, but it should straighten up all right. And then, but don't cut into the middle if you can help it. So as soon as you're comfortable, just cutting along your lines like this. Remember to use scissors which are suitable for you. Actually, mine are probably a bit bulky for this job. I probably could have done with a better pair of scissors, to be honest with you. But we will do our best. She says, trying to do it. Okay. There we go. We're off now. So you're off and running. So you just cut round, but make sure you don't cut into that middle section. Not unless you've got loads and loads and loads of black card, and it's good to save the environment anyway and not use too much of anything, isn't it? Really important, that. So try to save your black card, because this is then perfect to make enough muff to make these figures out of, which we'll do in a minute. But you should have this, just like that. Right, so the next job is not to make the figures. You should also have 2 pieces like that, which you could, I suppose, make figures out of if you thought about it. But I'm going to use my big piece, I think, for that. The next bit is the really easy bit, and that is we're going to use tissue paper. Okay, so again, you see through it, can't you? Tissue paper. I can't see that. Oh, that's it. And we're going to just tear little bits of tissue paper up and overlay them over each other, like I've done here, to make a stained glass sort of interior, like you get in churches. And I'm going to use, again, I'm going to be using a glue gun because I'm doing it quickly, but you can use normal water-based glue, that's absolutely fine. So what I've done, what you could do, because your glue won't be running out of sort of heat, because like mine will, you know, go hard very quickly, so I have to work mega fast. The good news about water-based glue is you can arrange things, and then if you don't like it, you can take it off and try again before it dries. You're sticking the stained glass to each other, but also to the frame, okay, so that it all stays together. And then keep going until it's all overlaid as it should be. I'm just going to pick up a pencil to pat mine down so I don't burn myself. And then I'll just do one more piece and I'll show you what I've done so far. Here we go. Right, so that's what we've got so far, okay. Now, what I'm going to do next is draw on here my figures with the baby Jesus between the two. And so you just need to draw a couple of figures. You can practice a few times on a piece of paper perhaps, or something like that. Then I'm just going to draw a Joseph sort of standing up. Remember, he was wearing robes, because they didn't wear trousers in those days, they wore robes. And then there's Mary kneeling down. And then there's a little manger between the two of them. I'm just going to cut that out. Okay. No, I won't have time to cut it all out now, but basically when you've finished, and you've finished overlaying all this, and it's all solid, and then you take this and you will stick that behind the frame there and over onto the top of this so that it shows up. And then I just finished it off with a little star. I've got a little ready-made one here which you could use quite easily, or you could use a silver one made from a bit of silver paper, which I also did this time round. Okay, and it's as simple as that. So there you go, very quick make there. I suppose I speeded it up a little bit, but I couldn't do it all because it would have taken us too long and you would have got very bored watching me ripping up bits of paper. But it's quite simple, quite easy. You just need a bit of help probably with the frame at the beginning and maybe with drawing Mary and Joseph out. But I'm sure you can have a good go at that and have a few practices before you get that right. And the other thing you could do is you could decorate. I haven't done it on this one, but you could decorate with a silver pen around the outside as well. I'll put Merry Christmas on it perhaps at the bottom. I might do that. I might just write Merry Mine isn't as tidy as it could be, but you get the idea. Merry Christmas at the bottom. Fabulous. Great. Okay, gonna have some music, and that's the end of the video too. Bye.